Family, listen to me. Your life will never rise higher than your thoughts. You can pray for change. You can hope for change. You can even cry for change. Until you take authority over your mind, change will never last, because the battlefield is not outside of you. The battlefield is inside of you. If you want a new life, you must train your mind to think differently. You cannot walk into tomorrow carrying yesterday's thinking. You cannot expect victory while entertaining defeat in your imagination. The truth is, you don't live where your feet are, you live where your mind is. And if your mind is chained, your life will be chained. But if your mind is free, your future is free. Controlling your mind does not mean pretending problems don't exist. It means refusing to let those problems dictate your direction. It means refusing to let fear, doubt, and insecurity write the story of your destiny. Every thought is a seed, and if you let the wrong seed grow, it will produce the wrong harvest. So what must you do? You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. Guard what you allow in. Speak over yourself daily. Replace the lies of "I can't" with the truth of "I can." Replace the whispers of fear with declarations of courage. Replace the heaviness of yesterday with the hope of tomorrow. Because when you control your mind, you control your decisions. And when you control your decisions, you control your life. Victory doesn't begin with money in the bank, applause from the crowd, or validation from people. It begins in your mind. Your thoughts today are building your tomorrow. You see, the mind is where every victory is first won or lost. Before you ever conquer a mountain, you must conquer your thoughts. Before you ever build a business, raise a family, heal from pain, or walk into your destiny, you must win the battle of the mind, because your mind is the steering wheel of your life. Wherever your mind goes, your life follows. If your mind is locked in fear, your life will shrink. If your mind is filled with faith, your life will expand. Every day, thoughts are fighting for your attention. They come in whispers, they come in storms, they come dressed in the memories of your past and the fears of your future. Some thoughts will tell you, you're not good enough. Others will remind you of mistakes that you've made. Some will try to chain you to shame, and others will flood you with worry about tomorrow. And if you allow those voices to rule your mind, they will rule your destiny. But hear me, the mind is the battlefield where your faith must rise. This is where you must decide who wins fear or faith, despair or hope, defeat or victory. Life may hand you challenges, but your mind decides how you interpret them. You can either see obstacles as walls that stop you or as stepping stones that lift you higher. You can see rejection as proof you're not worthy or as redirection into something better. The choice begins not in your hands, not in your bank account, not in your circumstances, but in your mind. Think about this. Soldiers don't go to war unprepared. They put on armor, they get their weapons ready, they train, they strategize. Why? Because they know the fight will be intense. If the mind is the battlefield, then you cannot walk into this fight casually. You must equip yourself daily. That means feeding your mind with truth, surrounding yourself with voices of encouragement, and silencing the lies that creep in at night when no one is watching. Let me make it plain. If you allow negative thoughts to take root, they will grow into negative outcomes. A seed of doubt in your mind can grow into a tree of failure in your life. A whisper of fear can grow into a wall that blocks your progress. If you plant seeds of faith, seeds of courage, seeds of determination, your life will bear fruit of strength, victory, and breakthrough. Do you understand now why the enemy fights so hard for your mind? Because if he can defeat you in your thoughts, he doesn't even need to touch your circumstances. If he can convince you that you'll never rise, you'll stop trying. If he can tell you that your past defines you, you'll stay stuck in yesterday's mistakes. If he can keep you entertained with distractions, you'll waste years chasing things that never mattered. That is why the mind is the battlefield. It's the place where destinies are either destroyed or defended. But here's the good news. You have the power to win this battle. You don't have to be a victim of your thoughts. You don't have to surrender to every lie, every fear, every insecurity. You can take authority over your mind. You can decide what you dwell on, what you believe, and what you release. Your mind does not have to control you. You can control your mind. It starts with awareness. Pay attention to what you're feeding yourself. Every conversation, every video, every piece of music, every word you hear, it's planting something in your mind. Some things build you up and some things tear you down. If your life feels heavy with anxiety, maybe it's because you've been allowing too much fear into your spirit. If you feel drained of hope, maybe it's because you've been replaying the same negative narrative over and over again. Change what you feed your mind, and you change what grows in your life. Next, you must learn to replace wrong thoughts with right ones. You cannot stop a thought from knocking at the door of your mind, but you can choose whether to let it in. Fear may knock, but you don't have to welcome it. Doubt may whisper, but you don't have to entertain it. When the thought says, you can't, replace it with, yes, I can. When it says, you're not enough, declare, I am chosen, I am equipped, I am capable. This is how you fight in the battlefield of mind. You don't fight with fists, you fight with truth. You also need discipline. Victory in the mind is not won in a single day, it's a daily fight. Some days you'll feel strong, and other days you'll feel weary. You must remain consistent. Speak life over yourself even when you don't feel like it. Guard your mind even when it seems easier to give in. Keep pushing even when the old voices try to return, because the more you discipline your mind, the stronger you become. Let me tell you something else. Winning the battle of the mind is not just about you. When your mind is free, your family benefits. When your mind is strong, your children inherit courage. When your mind is disciplined, your relationships grow healthier. Your life becomes an example to those around you. People see in you what victory looks like, and it inspires them to fight for their own. So never underestimate the power of a renewed mind. You don't need the approval of everyone else to win. You don't need every door to open right now to believe. What you need is a mind that is rooted, focused, and anchored in truth. Because when your mind is settled, your emotions stabilize. When your mind is disciplined, your actions align. When your mind is free, your life rises. Family, let this be your declaration today. I will no longer allow my mind to be a playground for fear, for shame, for insecurity. My mind is a battlefield, and I will fight for my victory. I will guard my thoughts. I will strengthen my focus, and I will live in the power of a renewed mind. Family, lean in and hear this truth. Your life is a mirror of your thoughts. Before you ever step into a season, before you ever make a choice, before you ever build a future, it first begins in your mind. The direction of your life will always follow the direction of your thoughts. You can never live consistently beyond the way you think. If your thoughts are small, your life will be small. If your thoughts are poisoned with fear, your life will be ruled by hesitation. If your thoughts are constantly focused on failure, you'll walk in circles, never stepping into success. When your mind is filled with faith, your life becomes bold. When your mind believes in possibility, doors that look locked suddenly swing wide. Your mind is disciplined to see beyond the obstacle. Your life begins to break through barriers. Your thinking is the blueprint of your destiny. Imagine a builder constructing a house. He does not begin by laying bricks without a plan. He does not start putting up walls without first creating a design. Plan, the vision, the blueprint comes first. Only then does the structure rise. That is exactly how your life works. Your thoughts are the blueprint. What you dwell on today is what you will build tomorrow. But here is the challenge. So many people want a new life while holding on to old thoughts. They want success, but keep thinking like failure. They want love, but keep thinking like rejection. They want freedom, but keep thinking like prisoners. You cannot build a palace on the foundation of broken thinking. Your life will always follow the structure of your mind. Every invention, every breakthrough, every accomplishment in history began with a thought. The car you drive was once just a thought in someone's mind. The phone you hold was once a vision in a dreamer's imagination. Even the life you desire begins as a thought within you. Thoughts are seeds, and when nurtured, they become actions. Actions become habits. Habits create lifestyle, and lifestyle becomes destiny. But it all begins with a thought. That's why the enemy doesn't start by stealing your house, your job, or your opportunity. He starts by attacking your thoughts. Because if he can control your thinking, he can control your life. If he can convince you that you'll never rise, you'll stop trying. If he can convince you that you're not worthy, you'll live beneath your value. If he can convince you that nothing will change, you'll quit before the breakthrough arrives. The battlefield of your destiny is fought in your thoughts. Listen to me carefully. Your thoughts set the atmosphere for your future. If you walk into a room believing you are inadequate, you will shrink. If you walk in believing you belong, you will carry yourself with confidence. People respond to the energy you release, and the energy you release is shaped by your thinking. That's why it is vital to guard your thoughts, because what's in your mind eventually shows up in your manner. Two people can face the exact same situation. Their outcomes are completely different because of their thinking. One sees a challenge as the end, the other sees it as a chance. One focuses on the pain, the other focuses on the lesson. One thinks, why me? While the other thinks, try me, same situation, different thinking, completely different lives. That's why I say again, your life follows your thinking. And hear this, negative thinking is not just a mindset, it's a trap. If you constantly replay what went wrong yesterday, you're dragging yesterday into today. If you constantly compare yourself to others, you rob yourself of your unique journey. If you constantly expect the worst, you subconsciously sabotage opportunities before they even arrive. Your thoughts can either be your wings or your chains. But here's the good news. You are not stuck with the way you've been thinking. You have the power to shift your thoughts, and when your thoughts shift, your life shifts. You can reframe failure as feedback. You can transform rejection into redirection. You can teach your mind to focus on possibilities instead of limitations. You don't need permission from anyone else to change your life. What you need is a renewed way of thinking. Do you know why some people can rise from nothing and build greatness? It's not always because of resources. It's not always because of connections. It's because they dared to think differently. They dared to believe that where they were was not the end of their story. They dared to dream when everyone else settled. They trained their thoughts to align with possibility, and their lives followed. Family, never underestimate the power of your inner dialogue. The words you speak to yourself every day shape the way you live. If you keep saying, I can't, your life will reflect limitation. If you keep saying, I'm not enough, your life will shrink into insecurity. If you start saying, I can, I will, I am able, or I am worthy, your life will rise to match those declarations. Your words fuel your thoughts, and your thoughts fuel your future. Let me challenge you, stop rehearsing defeat in your mind. Stop replaying the betrayal, the failure, the hurt, as if your future depends on it. That was a chapter, not the whole book. Stop renting space in your mind to people who don't even care about your growth. Stop letting temporary storms dictate your permanent perspective. The more you train your mind to see beyond the pain, the more your life will move toward purpose. And I need you to understand something vital. Expanding your thinking expands your life. When you believe bigger, you attempt bigger. When you attempt bigger, you experience more. Too many people are trapped not because life has locked them in, but because their thinking has. They've built invisible walls around themselves with thoughts of fear and limitation. But the moment you break those walls in your mind, the moment you dare to think beyond where you are, your life begins to enlarge. This is why personal growth is not just about learning skills, it's about reshaping thoughts. Because you cannot enter a new season with the same mindset that created the old one. If you want more, you must think more. If you want better, you must think better. If you want change, you must change your thinking first. I will no longer be bound by small thinking. Will no longer rehearse defeat in my mind. I will no longer limit my life with limiting thoughts. My life is rising because my thinking is rising. My life will follow the path of my renewed mind. You are not defined by your past thoughts. You are defined by the thoughts you choose today. And today, you can choose life. You can choose hope. You can choose vision. You can choose courage. Don't let your life be chained by yesterday's mindset. Train your mind, elevate your thoughts, and watch your life soar to heights you never imagined. Family, listen carefully. What you allow into your mind shapes the atmosphere of your life. The thoughts you entertain today will become the actions you take tomorrow. The images you replay in your head will frame the story you live out in your future. This is why you must guard your thoughts, because your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you don't protect it, weeds will grow where flowers were meant to bloom. Too often, people are careless with what they allow into their mental space. They think it's just a thought, it's harmless. But a thought is never just a thought. Thought becomes a belief shapes a decision builds a habit, and a habit defines a destiny. If you don't guard your thoughts, you are leaving the gates of your life wide open for fear, doubt, and negativity to come marching in. When you own a home, you lock the doors at night. You close the windows. You put up walls not because you hate the world outside, but because you want to protect what is valuable inside. Your mind works the same way. Your peace, your joy, your vision, your purpose, they are treasures. You cannot leave them unguarded. You cannot allow every negative word, every toxic opinion, every destructive idea to enter and dwell inside of you. To guard your thoughts means to take responsibility for the atmosphere of your mind. And let's be real, every day, there are countless voices trying to access your mental space. The voice of fear says, you can't make it. The voice of shame whispers, you're not worthy. The voice of comparison shouts, you're behind everyone else. The voice of distraction tempts you to waste your time. If you open the door to these voices, they will rob you of focus, drain you of energy, and keep you from destiny. But when you guard your thoughts, you learn to silence those voices before they set up residence in your soul. Guarding your thoughts requires awareness. You must pay attention to what you're consuming. What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Every source you allow into your life is feeding your mind something. Some voices feed you courage, others feed you confusion. Some environments stir your faith, suffocate it. If you want a strong future, you must be intentional about what you feed your mind. Junk thoughts will produce a junk life. Healthy thoughts will produce a strong life. But guarding your thoughts doesn't just mean shutting out negativity. It also means replacing it with truth. It means you don't just close the door to fear, you open the door to faith. You don't just shut out doubt, you invite courage. You don't just block insecurity, you welcome confidence. You don't just ignore despair, you embrace hope. Because an empty mind is just as dangerous as an unguarded one. You must actively choose what to meditate on, what to rehearse, and what to believe. Here's the hard truth. Sometimes the biggest threats to your thoughts are not external voices, but your own inner dialogue. Sometimes you are the one replaying old failures over and over again. Sometimes you are the one whispering, I can't, even when no one else is saying it. Guarding your thoughts means even protecting yourself from yourself. It means catching yourself in the act of self-sabotage and saying, no more. I refuse to let my own mind be used against me. Guarding your thoughts is not a one-time action. It is a lifestyle. Just as a guard at a gate never leaves his post, you must remain vigilant over your mental space. There will always be new challenges, new distractions, new doubts trying to creep in. But if you remain disciplined, if you stay watchful, you will build a fortress in your mind where peace can dwell, where hope can live, where vision can thrive. Do you know why some people collapse under pressure while others rise? It's not just talent, not just opportunity, not even just resources. It's the condition of their thoughts. One person has trained their mind to expect defeat, so when challenges come, they fold. Another has guarded their thoughts, filling their mind with perseverance, resilience, and determination, so when challenges come, they rise. The difference is not in what happened to them, but in what they allowed to live inside of them. And family, let me remind you, guarding your thoughts is not selfish, it's essential. Because the strength of your thoughts doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone connected to you. A guarded mind produces a healthy leader, present parent, a supportive friend, a visionary dreamer. But an unguarded mind produces a fearful leader, a distracted parent, an insecure friend, defeated dreamer. When you guard your thoughts, you create stability not only for yourself, but also for those who depend on you. So how do you guard your thoughts in a practical way? By being selective, By recognizing that not every voice deserves your attention, knowing that you don't have to engage every argument, watch every show, or scroll through every piece of negativity online. You are the gatekeeper. You have the authority to say yes or no. Guarding your thoughts also means creating mental habits of strength. Start your day with affirmations of who you are and where you are going. Remind yourself of your worth before the world tries to define it for you. Feed your mind with wisdom, with knowledge, with encouragement, so that when life throws storms at you, you already have an anchor holding you steady. And let me make this clear. Guarding your thoughts doesn't mean you'll never face struggles. It doesn't mean negative thoughts won't try to sneak in. It means when they come, they will find no place to stay. It means your mind is so fortified, so anchored, so guarded that lies cannot take root. It means you are alert, awake, and aware, and you refuse to surrender your mental peace to anything that doesn't align with your destiny. Quality of your life will always reflect the quality of your thoughts. If your mind is filled with clutter, your life will feel cluttered. If your mind is filled with fear, your life will feel restricted. But if your mind is guarded, focused, and filled with life-giving thoughts, your future will open wide with possibilities. So today, I challenge you, stand guard at the gate of your mind. Don't allow toxic thoughts to rule your heart. Don't give permission to lies to sit at your table. Don't let yesterday's mistakes replay in today's narrative. Guard your thoughts like your life depends on it, because it does. Family, hear me well. Your life will never rise higher than the truth you believe. But here is the challenge: not everything you hear, not everything you feel, not everything you think is the truth. Some of the things that echo loudest in your mind are lies, lies planted by fear, lies spoken by others, lies whispered by the enemy, lies replayed from past experiences. And if you live your life based on lies, you will live far beneath your potential. That is why you must learn to replace lies with truth. Lies are like weeds. They grow quickly, they spread quietly, and if you don't deal with them, they will choke out the good that was meant to grow in your life. Lies say, you're not enough. Lies say, you'll never change. Lies say, your past defines you. Lies say, everybody else is better than you. And if you keep watering those lies with your attention, they will take root in your mind until they feel like reality. But truth is stronger. Truth is like light. It exposes the lies and sets you free from their power. Truth declares you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Truth declares you are more than a conqueror. Truth declares your past is a lesson, a life sentence. Truth declares you are equipped, you are worthy, you are chosen. When you replace lies with truth, you shift the atmosphere of your mind and unlock the future that was always meant for you. Problem for many people is not that they don't have potential. It's that they have believed lies for so long, they mistake them for truth. They have rehearsed defeat so many times, they think it's their destiny. They have replayed rejection so many times, they think it's their identity. Lies repeated often enough start to feel real. That is why it's not enough to just ignore lies. You must actively replace them with truth. Think of your mind like a house. If a thief has broken in and filled the house with garbage, it's not enough to simply throw out the trash. You must also bring in what belongs there. You must furnish it with beauty, with strength, with light. Why? The emptiness will attract the same thieves again. Replacing lies with truth means not just rejecting the wrong. It means embracing the right. The lie says you failed too many times to succeed. If you believe it, you'll quit. But the truth says failure is not final. It is feedback. When you replace the lie with truth, suddenly what looked like the end becomes a stepping stone. The lie says nobody cares about you. If you believe it, you'll isolate yourself. But the truth says you are loved, valued, needed. When you replace the lie with truth, you realize you're not forgotten, you're chosen. The lie says you'll never break free. If you believe it, you'll stay in chains. But the truth says you are stronger than what tried to break you. And when you embrace that truth, the chains that seemed unbreakable begin to fall. Family, the reason replacing lies with truth is so powerful is because lies limit, but truth liberates. Lies bind, but truth breaks chains. Lies shrink your vision. Truth enlarges it. Lies tell you to stop, but truth tells you to press forward. If you want to change your life, you must first change what you believe. Here's the reality. Every day you're in a courtroom. Lies of the prosecutor, accusing you of everything you're not, everything you've done wrong, everything you can't do. But truth is your defender, reminding you of who you are, what you carry, and where you're destined to go. The verdict depends on which voice you believe, and the life you live depends on which voice you choose to trust. Replacing lies with truth takes discipline. It means you have to challenge your thoughts instead of just accepting them. Every time a lie comes, you have to ask, is this true? Does this align with the destiny I'm called to? If not, reject it and replace it. Lies will try to creep in subtly, often disguised as common sense or even your own voice. But truth must be your anchor, the standard you measure every thought against. And let me tell you something, truth is not just positive thinking. Truth is deeper than optimism. Truth is unshakable, eternal, consistent. Positive thinking might say, I hope it works out. Truth says, it will work out for my good. Positive thinking says, I'll try my best. Truth says, I am equipped to overcome. Truth is not fragile like feelings, it is solid like a rock. That's why when storms come, feelings may fail, but truth remains. Family, you must also recognize that lies are loudest when you're closest to breakthrough. Right before the moment of victory, the voices of defeat will scream the loudest. Right before you step into purpose, lies will tell you you're unworthy. Right before you heal, lies will tell you you're broken forever. This is why you must be intentional. Let the noise of lies drown out the whisper of truth. The louder the lie, the closer you are to freedom, if you choose to replace it with truth. And hear this, sometimes replacing lies with truth requires surrounding yourself with the right people. Because the wrong company will reinforce the lies. The right company will remind you of the truth. Some people will echo your fears, while others will speak to your future. Guard your circle, because the voices around you often become the voices within you. Replacing lies with truth also requires patience. Lies may not vanish overnight because they've had years to build strongholds in your mind. But every time you replace a lie with truth, you chip away at that stronghold. Every time you declare truth, you weaken the grip of the lie. And little by little, the truth takes root, grows stronger, and eventually drowns out the lie completely. I will not live another day believing lies about myself, my future, or my destiny. I will replace every lie with truth. When lies tell me I'm weak, I will declare that I am strong. When lies tell me I'm alone, I will declare that I am surrounded by love. When lies tell me I'm stuck, I will declare that I am stepping forward. When lies tell me I'm not enough, I will declare that I am more than enough. Family, the freedom you long for is not waiting somewhere out there. It begins in your mind. It begins the moment you stop agreeing with lies and start embracing truth. You don't have to keep replaying yesterday's failures. You don't have to keep entertaining voices of fear. You don't have to keep shrinking in the shadow of insecurity. Replace the lies with truth and watch your life transform. Family, let me tell you something that many people miss. Real change does not begin with the job you get, the house you buy, people around you, or the applause of the crowd. Real change begins inside first. Before your life can shift outwardly, something must shift inwardly. Before you see transformation in your circumstances, you must see transformation in your spirit, in your thoughts, in your heart. Too often we want life to change around us while we stay the same inside. We want better opportunities, but we don't want to renew our mindset. We want healthier relationships, but we don't want to confront our insecurities. We want more success, but we don't want to deal with the habits and beliefs that sabotage us. But here's the truth. If nothing changes in you, nothing will change around you. You can take the same person, put them in a new city, a new house, a new relationship, and they will eventually recreate the same struggles they left behind. Why? Because they changed locations, but they didn't change within. You cannot escape what you refuse to confront. If you want true transformation, it has to begin at the root, not just at the surface. The inside of you is like the foundation of a building. You can decorate the walls, paint the rooms, add beautiful furniture, but if the foundation is cracked, the whole structure will eventually collapse. In the same way, you can change your clothes, change your career, even change your circle of friends. But if you don't change what's happening inside, life will crumble under pressure. Strength of your outside life is only as strong as the stability of your inside life. And this is where so many people struggle. They want to fix symptoms instead of addressing the source. They want to cover emptiness with business. They want to silence insecurity with attention. They want to mask brokenness with success. But you cannot cover an internal wound with external achievements. You cannot heal your heart with material things. You cannot fix your soul with surface-level solutions. Change that begins outside first is temporary. Change that begins inside first is permanent. Inside change starts with honesty. You must be willing to look at yourself in the mirror and say, there are things in me that need to grow. There are patterns in me that need to break. There are wounds in me that need to heal. That kind of honesty is not easy. It's uncomfortable. It's vulnerable. It's humbling. Until you face the truth within, you'll keep running in circles without. Inside change also requires responsibility. You must stop blaming everyone else for where you are and start taking ownership of your decisions. Yes, life may have dealt you challenges. Yes, people may have hurt you. But if you wait for them to fix what's inside you, you'll be waiting forever. Responsibility says, they may have started the pain, but I will choose to heal. They may have tried to break me, but I will choose to rise. They may not support me. I will choose to grow. That's when real transformation begins, when you take responsibility for your own inner growth. And let me tell you something powerful. When you change inside first, the outside eventually follows. When your mindset shifts, your decisions shift. When your heart heals, your relationships improve. When your thoughts align with truth, your actions align with purpose. Change inside doesn't stay hidden. It eventually overflows and reshapes the world around you. Think of a seed planted in the soil. For a long time, change is happening underground where nobody can see it. The seed is breaking open, roots are forming, life is stirring in the dark. When the time is right, that seed pushes through the soil and growth becomes visible to everyone. That's exactly how interchange works. You may not see results overnight. People may not notice the work happening inside you. But if you keep nurturing the process, eventually the fruit of that inner change will break through into your outer life. The danger is when we try to skip the inside work. We want quick results, so we chase shortcuts. We want validation, so we put on masks. We want to look like we've changed without actually changing. But family, surface change will always collapse under pressure. If you don't deal with insecurity, success will only magnify it. If you don't deal with bitterness, relationships will only expose it. If you don't deal with fear, opportunities will only intimidate you. Change must begin inside first, or else the outside change won't last. Inside change also means healing from the past. Too many people are carrying wounds that shape the way they think, the way they speak, the way they live. You cannot move into a new future while dragging the chains of old pain. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is not pretending. It's allowing yourself to release what was so you can embrace what is and what will be. It's saying, I cannot change yesterday. I can change how yesterday shapes me today. And let me encourage you with this. Inner change doesn't mean you'll be perfect. It means you'll be progressing. It means you're no longer repeating cycles, you're breaking them. It means you're no longer living from your wounds. You're living from your wisdom. It means you're no longer waiting for life to shift. You're shifting from the inside out. Family, never underestimate the power of an inner transformation. When you shift your mindset, you unlock potential you didn't know you had. When you release bitterness, you create space for love and peace. When you confront your fears, you find courage that was always inside you. The greatest revolution you can ever experience is not out there, it is within you. Change begins inside of me. No longer wait for life to shift before I grow. I will no longer depend on people to fix what only I can heal. Will no longer chase surface solutions while ignoring my soul. I will do the hard work inside because I know the life I desire begins with the person I become. Change begins with your thoughts. Change begins with your heart. Change begins with your choices. Change begins with your discipline. And when the inside changes, the outside cannot remain the same. True and lasting transformation begins inside first. If you want to see the world around you rise, let the world within you rise first. If you want to change your life, start by changing your mind, healing your heart, and aligning your soul. Because when you transform inwardly, your entire life will follow.